Morning everyone, or actually good afternoon everyone. My name is Mitchell. Welcome to Pilates. How are we feeling today? If you have any injuries, pregnancies or illnesses, just try to play it safe. This is a Pilates class, so there's not a lot of danger in terms of creating new injuries. We have to more so be aware of our pre-existing conditions. So if you've got a joint injury or if you've got a pregnancy, make sure to modify as necessary. Because Pilates is often known for recovery and rehabilitation, please just understand that this class is a workout class, not a rehab class. We are going to be doing a lot of moves that strengthen our muscles and strengthen our stability to prevent injury, but we're not here to necessarily treat a particular injury. If I give you a move that you're not able to do, just pull back to a lower option or stop altogether and join back in when you're ready. Make sure that you only exercise within your range of ability for now. We are presently in a less active state in our day-to-day lives, and that's fine. We may have lost a little bit of ability. Just take it at your pace for where you are at now, even if you think you could do it before. Just play to your strengths now and we'll build that back up. So let's begin. I'm going to lie down and we're going to focus on the pelvic floor and transverse abdominis muscles. Think of the T that runs across your hips and up from your pubic bone. So we've got a horizontal line and a vertical line. To activate these muscles, draw up along the vertical line, draw inward from the outsides of the horizontal line, and then from the center of that T, bring it down towards your lower spine. Let's lie down and let's practice that for a few breaths. Lying down, roll your shoulders down and back, tuck your chin in, rest your tailbone down, keep your knees bent. Hands by your sides, just focus on activating that T-zone. Drawing up along the vertical line, in along the horizontal, and then down towards the spine. As you exhale, release. Inhale, draw up, in and down, and as you exhale, release. What we're doing is we're activating the pelvic floor muscles, activating the transverse abdominal muscles, and then centering them, holding them still. As we go through certain motions that require our hips to remain still and stable, these muscles will do just that. So if you find, as we're in different positions, as we're leaning to one side or another, or we're moving a leg, and we need to keep the hips still, just check that our T-zone is active. Inhale, activate your T-zone. Exhale, release. Are we ready to start moving? I'm going to start off very basic. Use your abdominals. Imprint your spine slightly. Activate your T-zone as you inhale. As you exhale, lift one foot off the ground. Bring your leg into tabletop position, which is knees and hips 90 degrees. As you inhale, lower the foot back down. Other side. I tripped over my words there. Inhale and lower. Exhale, lift the leg up into tabletop position. Inhale, lower back down. Remember, in Pilates, we're not focused so much on the repetition as we are the activation. Time your movement naturally with your breathing. You may go a little bit slower or a little bit faster than me, and that's fine. Exhale, lift the foot. Inhale, reactivate your T-zone as you lower back down, keeping your shoulders down and back, chin tucked in, keep the pressure out of your neck. Next time we're going to lift and extend the leg. Draw the knee back over the hip and lower back down, other side. We're working the abdominals and the hip flexors. As we extend the leg, our T-zone is active, so our hips don't rock side to side as the shift in balance of weight occurs. your hips are remaining still and your core is switched on and you're using your abdominals to imprint your spine slightly, you should start to feel your abdominals slowly warming up. I'm going to take this one further. Take one leg up, extend the leg, hold it here. We're going to circle the leg down, up, and around, coming back to the middle, and then going again. Circle up, rotate the knee out to the side, rotate the knee back up to the ceiling, and come back to the middle. Now you can start off with a little circle in your leg, and then slowly tease out a greater range of movement. The idea here, keeping the T-zone on, keeping your hips still, no rocking through the pelvis. If you come out too far and you lean and twist like that, you've lost control. Reduce your range of movement. Stay within the zone of control. One more big circle in this direction. Come back to the middle, and then I'm going to go back, same leg, in the other direction. Each circle should cycle through one full breath cycle. Breathing in, and then exhaling. Keeping both shoulders flat on the ground, chin tucked in, your core is on, nothing above your hips should be moving. One more cycle, lift up, come around, and come back to center. Draw the knee back over the hip, lower down. Let's go into the other side. Leg up. Extend the leg, reach through the toes, and I've got something in my way, sorry, I'll turn diagonally on. Reach through the toes, start to circle that leg. Keeping the core on, shoulders back and down. If you find that the movement is getting a bit intense, reduce the range of motion, make a smaller circle. If you find that you're at a level where you can persist at a slow burn, focus on your breathing. Endure the fatigue that is slowly setting in while keeping that core on, keeping those hips still. We're not going to give up just yet. One more in this direction. Coming back to the middle, change direction. Big circle, or as big as you can manage. If you're only making small circles, because that's all you can manage before your hips start to rock, that's fine. That's your level, that's your challenge. We're not here to be superstars. We're here to get better each and every single day. One more time. Coming back to center, draw the knee over the hip, lower the foot back down. Give the legs a little bit of a shake out. I'm going to slide forward slightly. There we go. We're going to move now into our abdominal curls. We always want to make sure that we're doing something nice with our abs. The first thing we're going to do before we move is to focus on our position. Roll the shoulders back and down. Hands by our sides. Tailbone down. Use your abs. Imprint your spine slightly. Keep your knees bent. Chin tucked in, eyes forward. Think of the distance between your ribs and your hips, and without moving anything, try to close that distance using the muscles in between. Relax. As you exhale, draw the ribs and the hips closer to each other, squeezing the abdominals. As you inhale, release. Exhale, draw the ribs and the hips closer to each other. As you inhale and release, make sure you reactivate your T-zone, still keeping the hips nice and stable. Exhale, drawing down. Inhale. Relax. Once you're certain you've got those muscles moving, and the first thing that you're going to activate is your abdominals, rib to hip connection as you move. Hands either on your temple or just behind your head, only for support, not to do the work. We're going to inhale, activate the T-zone. Exhale, draw the ribs down towards the hips, squeezing the abdominals. And then inhale, return to the floor. Keep the chin tucked in, peel the shoulders off the ground, slowly squeezing your abs. Inhale, slowly lower down. Keep going, and with each repetition, focus on that rib to hip connection. We are timing the movement with our breathing rather than timing the breath with our movement. We are moving at our own natural rhythm. Unlike other group fitness classes where you're focused on the repetition range and the speed, here we're focused first and foremost, what are we feeling? Is it going through your abdominals? If it's going through your neck, roll your shoulder blades back and down, tuck your chin in, keep your eyes forward. If you need to support your head with your hands, that's fine, keep your elbows wide. Just make sure that they're only there to support, not to actually pull your head up. We do not want the hands or arms doing any of the work. If you're unsure, try crossing your hands across your chest and seeing how much movement you get without any arms at all. Otherwise, elbows wide, chin tucked in, lifting and squeezing, and coming back down. For some of you, this is more than enough. For others, one leg at a time, bring your knees into tabletop position and proceed. Lifting and squeezing, slowly lowering back down. One more time. Lift and squeeze. Coming back down. Now keep your legs where they are. If they're in tabletop position, leave them there. Otherwise, place your feet down on the ground, one way or the other. Lengthen your arms so that your wrists are directly over your shoulders. Keep your shoulders down and back. Keep your chin tucked in. We're going to prepare our arms for movement. Without lifting the shoulders, we're going to lengthen the arms over our heads and then bring them back up over our shoulders. Lengthen the arms, reach through the fingers, up over the shoulders, and coming back up. As we lengthen the arms, as we move the arms, keep the shoulders down and back. We are not lifting the shoulders closer to our ears, we're only going within a range of movement that does not activate the upper traps. Now coming back to center with the arms up over the shoulders, turn the palms towards the knees. We're going to extend one leg and the opposite arm. Coming back to center, other side, opposite arm to opposite leg. Same principles apply as in the warm-up for these exercises. Keeping the back flat on the ground, imprinting your spine. Keeping the shoulders down as you lift the arm over your head. Keeping the tailbone down, keeping the back flat as you lengthen through the leg, reaching through the toes. Our hips are stable, our shoulders are stable, and we're lengthening through the fingers, through the toes, drawing back in towards the center. As we go up and over and long and low, try to keep your arm and leg roughly at the same angle of elevation. So if your arm can only go to here, try to keep your leg only roughly the same extension angle. As soon as you feel your lower back starting to arch off the ground, reduce the range of movement. We don't want deactivation through our core. Now you can stay like this if this is your challenge level, but if you want a little bit more, keeping your knees hip width apart, keeping your arms shoulder width apart, we can extend both the arms and legs at the same time, coming down only so far as both will allow. Keep your lower back flat on the ground, imprint your spine using your abdominals. Exhale as you draw back to the middle. Inhale as you lengthen and extend. Every time you come back to center, reinforce your posture. Make sure the shoulders are back and down. Make sure your chin is tucked in. Make sure your abdominals are drawing your lower back towards the ground. Tailbone is down. Let's do 2 more. Last one. Come back to tabletop. Drop the arms by the side, 1 foot at a time. Lower your feet out of tabletop. Relax for a sec, give it a little bit of a wiggle out. And then we're going to start with a little bit of oblique work. We're going to lie down on our top arm. We're going to bend our knees as if we're going to do our side lying glute work. We're going to lengthen the arm down our body, reaching for our heels. From here, we're going to lift the top shoulder and bring it down to the side, squeezing the oblique muscles, lowering back down. From lying, squeeze the ribs and the hips together to lift the upper body. And then inhale, lower back down. Your upper arm is there for support, but I don't want you to push up and do the work with your arm. Lifting and squeezing, sliding the fingers down towards your heel as you use your abdominals, specifically your obliques, to draw your ribs closer to your hips. Now your head will move a little bit, but try not to bring the neck into it. Just keep your neck nice and long, keep your head in line with the rest of your spine. Up and squeeze, and come back down. Now if your hips are at the not quite the right angle, you might instead feel like you're squeezing your lower back muscles. If that's the case, just make sure that your hips are stacked, or maybe even slightly tilted back. Make sure there's no rocking. Make sure that T-zone is switching on every time you inhale. Lift and squeeze, reaching down, and then gently lower. Let's make this a little bit harder, or at least a little bit more intense. Lift up, squeeze, hold it at the top, lower down halfway, and then go back to full range. We are pulsing through this side crunch. At your own pace for 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Flipping over, we're going to do the other side. Take a moment to get yourself into alignment. There's no problem in taking a second or two more to make sure you're in the correct technique, rather than trying to rush into your repetitions. So arm up, using your head, using your biceps as a pillow. Keep your shoulders stacked, knees stacked, hips roughly in line, heels roughly in line with your hips. Arm on top of your hips. We're going to reinforce that rib to hip connection to lift the upper body as you slide your fingers down to your heels. Lift and squeeze. Now what we're working here are the oblique muscles. They're part of the abdominals, but while the front of your abdominals is responsible for flexing your spine and holding your spine still, these muscles, the obliques, are responsible for twisting through the torso and side bending, which is what we're doing now. So even though we're still drawing the ribs towards the hips, we're focusing on the side of the ribs and the hips. That way, we're more stable through our everyday movement. Because we know how we move. We reach for a shopping bag that's down to the side. Maybe we're getting a bit afraid that we might accidentally bring the lower back into it. So if we reinforce the muscles that are supposed to work, they'll be more ready to do their job. Exhale, draw the ribs towards the hips, lengthen the fingers down towards your heels. Try to keep your head as still as possible. Now we're going to come up, hold it up at the top, lower down only halfway. Little pulses. Keep it here for another 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1, and relax. Let's give the abs a little bit of a rest. We're going to focus now on our glutes. Both the glute max and the glute med. Lying down as we were at the beginning. Keep your knees bent, tailbone down, T-zone activated, core, abdominal muscles draws your spine down towards the floor, shoulder blades down and back, chin tucked in, make sure everything is nice and solid. Hands by your sides. Before we move, push your heels into the ground and give your glutes a bit of a squeeze. Make sure each time you push your heels down that the pressure is sort of rolling in towards the center of your butt, and that it's not going to activate your hamstrings or your lower back. The focus is first and foremost on the big glute muscles. Once you're certain you're in position and you've got that activation, pushing through your heels, inhale at the bottom, activate your T-zone, and then as you exhale, squeeze your glutes to lift your pelvis up. Inhale at the top, pause for a second, and then as you exhale, roll your spine down vertebrae by vertebrae until the tailbone flattens on the ground. At the bottom, inhale, T-zone, exhale, push through your heels, squeeze your glutes, lift your hips. Inhale at the top, T-zone, and slowly roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. Keep going, timing the movement with your breath, lifting your hips up only as high as you can using the glute muscles. If you feel it going into your lower back, reduce the range of movement because we don't need the hips to come all the way like this. We only need them to be lifted up high enough that the glutes are getting their full range of movement. You may feel a little bit of fatigue in your hamstring muscles. You can adjust the distance of your feet to your hips to change whether or not the hamstrings are activating. Everybody is different. Everyone has different lengths of arms and legs and different shaped hips. So where one person's feet fall is not necessarily the optimal place for another person's. Play around, get a good feeling for how your body works, and adjust accordingly. If it feels right, if you can feel the right muscles activating, you're probably doing what's right for your body. Now I'm going to lift up at the top and hold there, squeezing the glutes, stabilizing the hips, holding them in place. We're going to rotate the knees out to the side, coming up onto the outer edge of our feet, drawing the knees back towards the center, and then going again, rotating out to the side, knees falling out a little towards the side, coming onto the outside blades of our feet, drawing back into the middle. What we're doing here is we're holding our hips up with our glute max, and then we're using our glute med to rotate the knees out to the side. If you're familiar with the clam series of Pilates, it's those same muscles. As we're driving one set of muscle to fatigue, we're bringing in another one just to reinforce. Right now we're timing the movement with our breathing. If you can, divorce the movement from your breathing and move more naturally. Now, naturally means as you go out to the side, you're not dropping your hips to go out faster. If you can only go out slowly while keeping your hips in their position, then that's all you can do, that's fine. If you want to go a little bit faster, keep in mind that you still have to activate your T-zone. You still have to have your glutes squeezed. And everything has to stay still. The shoulders are still down and back, chin tucked in, eyes forward. Everything is rock solid and stable. And if you want to go for an absolute finale on this move, go out to the side and then come back halfway and just pulse the most extreme end of the move. As the burning starts to build, focus on your breathing. Focus on activating your T-zone. Keep your back flat, chin tucked in, shoulders down and back. All the posture settings, focusing. Stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Draw the knees back to the center. Keep the glutes where they are. Draw the heels a little bit closer to your butt. We're going to push up through our toes, lifting the heels up. We're recruiting our calf muscles. So that's the back of the lower leg, lifting up onto your toes. Lifting your heels, squeezing your calves, rolling the foot back down to the floor, and relaxing. Well, not relaxing, your hips are still up. Squeeze the calves, lift the heels, come back down. can stay with us the whole way. If you feel that the pressure is creeping up into your lower back, just relax down for a bit and give it a bit of a shake out. If you're still good to go, lift your hips up, lift one leg up in your hip bridge, push through the heels, push through the toes, lift your heel up, one leg only. So we'll do one leg, gently squeezing the calf muscle. If it's fatiguing too much, go back to two legs. More seconds. It is a bit intense to do it on one foot. Hold, change sides. Other side, knee up over hip. Push through the toes, lift up the heel. Squeezing the calf. Really plant the base of your toes into your mat. At this stage, the hips are up as high as they are. We shouldn't be thrusting through the hips at this stage. We should be holding everything else still and just focusing on that heel lift. Got 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the heel, lower the foot, and vertebrae by vertebrae, lower the hips down to the ground. Shake out the legs, lengthen the legs, give them a bit of a wobble. From here, we're going to take our hands out to the side, bring them up in front of our chest, press the palms of our hands together, draw the elbows closer together, shoulders down and back, chin tucked in, back flat on the ground, tailbone down, knees bent. Pressing the palms together, we're going to lower the elbows towards our ribs, bringing the hands towards the middle of our chest. Pushing through the heels of the hands, we're slowly lifting up. Coming back down, keeping the elbows tucked in, keeping everything else centered. What we're aiming for is to get the pectoral muscles, these muscles, activated and rolling through their change by pressing the palms together and reducing the movement through the rest of our joints. So the elbows don't come wide, the shoulders don't go too far out to the shoulders don't create movement, they go too far out to the sides. Everything is focused on drawing towards the middle and up, and keeping everything on that nice straight line down the middle as we come back down. Now, if you're not feeling anything, just check that you don't just have your palms together, but you're actually putting pressure through the palms, pushing them against each other. As we activate these muscles, we reinforce the idea in our body that these muscles are part of our pushing movement. So sometimes when we do things like body pump or hips, and we do a push-up or a bench press, our shoulder muscles and our triceps take over, and our pectoral muscles, which are towards the center of the movement, don't actually get their proper activation. We get compensation through other parts. So if we do this move before we do anything else with our arms and our shoulders, we make sure that they are activated. From here, pushing through the palms, lifting up. At the top, we're going to separate the arms, keeping the shoulders down and back, focusing on those pectoral muscles as our arms come out to the side, Squeezing those pectoral muscles, concentratedly to bring the palms back together at the top. Opening up, expanding through the chest, keeping the shoulders wide. Squeeze the pectoral muscles, drawing the hands back together directly over the chest. Opening up, inhaling, exhale, squeeze the pectoral muscles, bring the palms back together. If you're a gym regular, you'll recognize this as a little bit like a fly or a pec deck. And we're not looking to move a lot of weight, we're just looking to see if in this bigger movement we can in fact get the pectoral muscles to do their job instead of relying on the shoulders, which is the deltoids. I should clarify, I mean the deltoids. Let's do one more. Open up. Squeeze the pecs, come back to the center, press the palms together, lower back down. Let's put this into practice. Flipping over. Take your hands just outside the shoulders. So we don't want it to go too wide, so the elbows coming out to the side. And we don't want the arms directly under the shoulders, so we're going to bend the elbows back into a tricep push-up. We want the hands just outside the shoulders so that the elbows will bend diagonally back and away. Put the pressure through the palms, chin tucked in, shoulders back and down, back flat. You can start off on your knees, I will. Bend the elbows at a diagonal, lower the chest to the floor, press through the palms, squeeze the pecs, lift the body up. Inhale, keep the body in one straight flat plank, push up through the palms, and lift up. Keep going. Inhale as we lower. Exhale as we lift. And at the bottom, pause for a second, stabilize those pectoral muscles, squeeze them to lift the body up. Keep the shoulders forward, keep the chest forward. We don't want to be doing this or this. The flank stays flat, the core stays on, and we're just gently going through the motion. If you want a bit more, you can come up onto your toes, but if you want to focus instead on a slightly different challenge, lower the chest all the way down to the floor, release the hands, then press through the palms, lifting the shoulders and the hips at the same time as we come up. It is one challenge to keep the pectoral muscles active, and it is another challenge on top of that to keep the core muscles on so that we're not lifting up. We're not the Little Mermaid. This is not Ariel on the rock. We want the chest to stay in line with the hips. And of course, if you want the absolute double gold standard, onto your toes, double palm release, hold that plank as you go through the full range of push-ups. Let's go for 3 more. Last one. Hold it here. Drop your knees if you're on your toes. Sit your hips back into your heels. Lengthen your arms. Keep your chin tucked in, sit back so that your butt comes to your heels. Lower your shoulders down to the ground. Hold it here. From here, bring one arm across the body, place one palm on top of the other, sit away from the hands, stretching up that lengthened arm into the shoulder. Release that hand, bring it across, bring the other hand so the palm rests on the knuckle, sitting back. Forward, release the arms, bring the hands under the shoulders. We're going to go a bit deeper into the pectoral and the front of the shoulder. One hand under the shoulder, the other hand is going to extend, the arm is going to reach out to the side, bring the shoulder down towards the ground and then rotate towards the center. Now for you, some of you this might be a bit tight. So if you find a point of tension where it is stretching, don't go any further. Even if you're up here, only go so far as you feel a stretch. We don't want you to strain. In this class, that is probably one of the more likely ways to injure yourself, by straining too far into a stretch or a move. Listen to your body. I know it feels satisfying, but only go so far as it feels safe. Shoulders back to the center. Draw the arm back in, other side, lengthen the arm, reach through the fingers, ground the hand, lower the shoulder towards the floor and then rotate the shoulder towards the center, and you'll feel the stretch right up through here. Rotate back to center, draw the arm back in. We're going to go through a little bit of downward dog and a little bit of upward dog. Plant the base of your fingers into the floor, shoulders back and down. Make sure you've got a nice solid plank in your torso. Dig your toes into the ground, lift your knees up, lift your heels up. Push your heels down to the ground. Lengthen your arms out of your shoulders, lengthen your legs out of your hips, and then bring your shoulders down towards the ground. Keep your chin tucked in, lengthening up the back of the legs, putting some space back between the vertebrae. From here, we're going to lift our shoulders, bring our hips forward, drop down to your knees. We want to go into this one easy and gently. Come down to your elbows, lower your hips, lift your chest up, shoulders back, and we want to feel a lengthening up the front of our torso. If you don't have any problems with your lower back and you want a bigger stretch, bring your hands under your shoulders and lift your shoulders and chest a little bit further, dropping your hips down, shoulders back and down, and lift your chin up a little. Again, only come up as high as it is comfortable. Do not strain. To come out of this stretch, bend your elbows, lower your chest down, push your upper body away from the floor. We'll go through one more stretch. We're going to stretch through our glutes because they did a lot of work. Bring your leg in front. You can either have your knee in front of your chest, or you can go a little bit deeper by bringing your whole lower leg in front. From here, lengthen your back leg, square your shoulders with the floor. Lower your shoulders down, push your hips back, and stretch up the side of your glute between your upper leg and outer hip. come out of this stretch, push through your hands, lift your chest up, draw your leg back, and then swap to the other side. Squaring your shoulders with the floor, keep your hips square, push your hips back, lower your hip bone towards the floor, lower your shoulders towards the floor. Pushing up through your hands, lifting your shoulders, roll back onto your hips. Coming back to the center, up onto your knees, roll through, shake out nice and loose. Congratulations everyone. If you have any questions, comments or feedback, let us know in the comments. Keep an eye out for our timetable. It is changing. We are developing new programs and we are recording a lot of classes to help with your technique and to help with other little things that you might be getting wrong or you might need a little bit of advice with in the gym or in your group fitness classes. So keep an eye out on Instagram and Facebook and let us know if you need anything. We will see you next time. Thank you.